Hey, it's Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest for this segment is Kevin Cookingham, Cookingham for Congress. Kevin, welcome back to the show. You've been on before.
Yep, great to be back.
I have no idea what we talked. No, we talked about running for Congress.
Yes.
You were running in what district?
16th District.
Okay. And give me kind of the physical parameters.
Yeah, so 16th District is pretty much in Fresno, southeast, southwest, central, west Fresno.
Okay.
Goes west of 99 to about Grantland, and then it goes all the way north to Atwater and all the little towns in between, so Merced, Madera, all the Chachilla, smaller towns like Hilmar and La Grande, and then it goes west all the way to Dos Palos, Las Banas. So it's a great big triangle is what it is. Most of the voting block, though, is in Fresno.
Okay. And you're running for Congress? Why?
Well, I retired from Clovis Unified as a principal. I was a principal at Clovis Adult School and Clovis Online
You
School.
kind of had that principal aura about you.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but I loved it. And I was in education 25 years, ministry for 10 years.
Okay.
And I worked with Youth for Christ right down here on San Pablo and Divisadero for 5 years, Hume Lake Christian Camps 5 years, and then 25 years with Clovis Unified. The last 7 at those 2 schools that I mentioned. One key thing that I was involved with at Clovis Adult School was getting people from low economic areas, finding them grants, because, grants you don't have to pay back. It's not like you're getting a loan. A grant is, Pell Grants are federal grants, and then you've got CalWorks and Department of Rehab and so forth. And we'd find these people grants to pay for their fees, and we would position them for success by getting them into healthcare programs, business programs, and so forth. So we had a tremendous success rate with that at Clovis Adult. And you probably know this, that the unemployment rate across the United States is the envy of the world at 3.5%. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But not here in the 16th District.
Okay.
In the 16th District, it's 16.9%.
Is it really?
It's horrible, yes. And so
All right.
I would love to play a role in being involved with that
All right.
unemployment rate.
Kevin, looking at our area here in this district, why do we have such a skewed unemployment compared to the rest of the country?
Well, there's a number of reasons. It's not just like one reason. But I
Okay.
will tell you that part of the problem is people don't know where the opportunity lies.
Okay.
So let me give you an example. We always hear, well, there's people can't afford college. Well, I looked at the cost of college at our community colleges. They said about $3,600 a year for a community college. But when you figure in all the grant students receive, all the scholarship students receive, you know what the average cost for a year of community college is?
No.
$400.
Oh,
That's
sign me
the
up.
average cost. And I'll tell you, community colleges, adult schools can prepare people for all kinds of jobs out there. So my feeling is we need to pull social services together. We need to pull our adult schools, our community colleges, and then our work programs together, and make sure that we're guiding people into these programs. If you look at the number of career tech education programs at a community college, there are literally hundreds of them. Now, I've got a friend that is very high up in a large construction company, and he said that they cannot find the skilled workers they need to work as electricians, framers, HVAC.
Time out, Kevin, right there, because this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
Every parent thinks their child needs to go to a college or university to get that degree so that they can go out and make money in the world. And we all know in today's world, by the time you get out in the world, you're carrying oftentimes a very large debt as a result of going to college. But electricians,
Oh, my word.
plumbers,
Yeah.
skilled labor, these are jobs that, back in the day we used to talk about trade schools. And they just kind of dried up and went away.
Right.
But we need those people.
Absolutely. And not only that, I think our union should be going into our high schools and our community colleges and our colleges and recruiting people into apprenticeship programs, just like the military recruits people.
Yeah.
Let them see the opportunity. I talked to my friend who works in the Bay Area. He said, do you know what these people are making? And they're making $60 to $100 an hour for apprentice jobs in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
These are great jobs we could get people lined up for and positioned for that have no jobs right now. So a big part of the problem is exposing the opportunities out there to people and then holding them accountable that they get involved.
Yeah. And, going back to what I was talking about, trade schools, universities and stuff, unfortunately, you talk about making people aware. We don't make our young people aware that they don't need to go to a college or university.
Exactly right.
Because oftentimes, and this is unfortunate, but we don't raise up our young people with self-confidence, and they think, well, I'm not smart enough, but they're good at various skilled things, and oftentimes that introduction through a trade school or whatever into, an opportunity to make major income.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
I've got a brother that completed his C-27 license, which is landscape contracting.
Right.
I'll tell you, he's made a lot more than I've made, even as a principal in Clovis Unified. So there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Okay, so what else we got going on?
Well, if we've talked about jobs, education. We've got. I'm really concerned about our education in this state, and of course that's run mostly by the state of California. I'm running for a federal position,
Right.
but I would love to be able to be involved and team up with the local governments and the state governments to see that our education system is improved. And let me just tell you a little bit about that. 7 years ago, the state of California came up with what's called the LCFF, Local Control Funding Formula.
Okay.
And they said school districts that have 55%, if you total 3 areas, low economic, foster children, and English learners. If a district has 55% of those, they receive a lot of extra money, between $2,000 and $3,000 per student. So a class of 30 students could have $75,000 coming in extra just for that one class. The problem is when they came out with this, I said, where's the accountability? Where's the accountability? And they're finding out now they've given all this money to districts, and the test scores aren't going up because there's no accountability, and the state is saying, well, what'd you do with the money? Oh, we don't know. Really?
Okay. As a member of Congress, how do you affect that?
Well, Congress, a big part of Congress is influence. It's getting involved with people, and it's getting, look, my number one role, even though we deal with law in Congress and we have the purse strings for the nation, you know what my number one role is? It's the 16th district. That's what it is. So I will work with the local government and the state government in making sure that there's accountability. There has to be accountability. We have an old saying in Clovis that if it's not monitored, it's optional. And if we don't start monitoring where this money is going, this is a disservice to our students. They're not being helped. And by the way, there's a lot of ways to help students bring up their level of comprehension in English, writing, and math without more money. And I'll give you a quick example. When I first started as a student teacher, I was a kindergarten teacher. And I'm very competitive. So I didn't want the other teachers having higher classes than me. And I had about 10 or 12 students they didn't know their lowercase, their uppercase letters. They couldn't read a leveled book. They didn't know money. Any of these things, they're key things for elementary and kindergarten. So I went to the 6th grade classes. I said, every 6th grade class, every class has their brainiacs, right? They have their 2 or 3 kids that they know this stuff already. Could I have them and use them as tutors? I brought these kids in. I paired them up with students in kindergarten, and within 6 weeks, every one of those kids was on grade level. Every one of those kids knew everything, and they were up to grade level with the other kids. Didn't cost a cent. And you know what? The 6th graders loved it. And we were able to do that. So there's a lot of ways that we can work with students, get them up to grade level, have them excel, build confidence, and do extremely well in school.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we vote for you. How do we vote
Absolutely.
for you?
Well, my website is cookinghamforcongress.com, Cookingham, F-O-R, Congress.com. They can go to my website. They can see what my platform is. I'm a person that's not a maintainer. I'm a developer. If I'm involved and I get voted into the 16th district, which I believe I will be, they're going to see things happen.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, Kevin, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Cookingham for Congress.
Yes.
Get a hold of him. I'll see you when we come back.